10 mind-blowing facts about the world that you won't believe are true. Have you ever thought about what makes the world around us so beautiful? Why are things the way they are today? Well, our planet is full of strange phenomenons and secrets that have yet to be discovered. Here's 10 facts about the world that will blow your mind away. They may sound absurd at first, but are actually proven to be true facts. Before getting into the video, kindly subscribe the channel and thumbs up the video. Let's move towards the video. Fact number 1. There are only 2 countries in the world where Coca-Cola does not exist. You might think Coca-Cola is something you can find anywhere in the world, but these 2 countries have been in long-term U.S. trade embargoes, North Korea since 1950 and Cuba since 1962. However, North Korea has made its own dark-colored soda. They call it Ryongjin Cola or Cocoa Sparkling. It has the similar red packaging and cursive font, but does it have the same great taste? Let us know in the comments if you've tried it. Fact number 2. Machu Picchu is an earthquake-proof city. This ancient Inca town rests on top of 2 fault lines in Peru. That means earthquakes were expected events. So how did they live through it? In fact, the Incans created a brilliant engineering technique called ashlar masonry, where rocks are cut to fit perfectly together without mortar. This allowed the stones to move in its place during an earthquake, before settling back in their original positions. Genius or what? Fact number 3. You could walk from Russia to Alaska on ice. Between Russia and Alaska lies the Bering Strait. When it freezes up in the winter, you can journey across, with 3.8 kilometers being the shortest end. However, just because it's possible, doesn't mean it's legal or safe, as the ocean winds are extremely cold and the ice below may shift. In 2006, 2 adventurers set out from Alaska to cross the frozen path on foot. They crossed 90 kilometers in 15 days before they were detained in Russia for violating immigration laws. Asterisk pro tip: don't do it. Fact number 4. You're always 7 years behind in Ethiopia. Here's one of the most mind-boggling facts about the world. When we welcomed 2020, Ethiopia was only 4 months into 2012. Just like the Gregorian calendar, the one most of us are on, the Ethiopian calendar marks Christ's birth as the starting point. However, following alternate calculations of the Annunciation of Christ, the Ethiopian calendar is 7 to 8 years behind. Fortunately, travelers aren't affected by the difference while they're there. Modern-day Ethiopia understands the Gregorian calendar and uses both calendars interchangeably. But if you're keeping receipts for reimbursements, the date printed might make it seem like your trip was years ago. Not to worry though, all you have to do is convert your dates. The most interesting differences are the yearly holidays. Unlike the rest of the world, Ethiopia celebrates New Year's on September 11th and Christmas on January 7th, in Gregorian calendar. Fact number 5. France is the most visited country with 89 million annual tourists. Based on Singapore's popular travel destinations, I'd think either Japan or Thailand to be the most visited country. Surprisingly, before COVID-19 made travel take a back seat, France was the most visited country in the world. Apart from exploring the city of love, many travelers also pass through it on their way to Italy and Spain. Fact number 6. In Sweden, you can order Max on skis. In Sweden, you don't need a car to order from the drive-thru. But you'll need a pair of skis. Everyone gets the Macadee munchies, especially in negative degrees with boards on your feet. That's why Sweden has blessed skiers with McSki since 1996, the only ski-through McDonald's in the world. Nothing warms you up more than a box of nuggies after a tough day on the slopes. Fact number 7. New Zealand has the steepest residential area in the world. San Francisco is known as a city of slopes, with its steepest street angling up at 27 degrees. If you think that's steep, try living on Baldwin Street in New Zealand. The residential street in Dunedin won the Guinness World Record with its 38 degrees slope. The sharp incline makes all the houses look like they're sunken into the ground. Don't take our word for it, but we're sure the residents have thighs of steel. Fact number 8. In Hawaii, you can experience sunny beaches and snowy mountains on the same island. Hawaii only has 2 seasons, summer and winter, but it actually has 8 of the world's 13 climates. At sea level, the temperature rarely rises above 32 degrees Celsius or drops below 16 degrees Celsius, but in the mountains of Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, and Haleakala, it snows pretty often. Fact number 9. There's a village in the Netherlands with no streets, only canals. Venice isn't the only town that gets around mainly by boat. Within Giethoorn village in the Netherlands, there are no streets, only footpaths and over 6 kilometers of canal. The picturesque village is filled with rustic cottages and surrounded by tall trees, just like a fairy tale. Visitors can either kayak through the scenic neighborhood or ride a bike on the footpaths. Fact number 10. It snows in the Sahara Desert. Deserts are known to have very low precipitation. And if rainfall is rare, wouldn't snowfall be even rarer? Well, the impossible happened in 2018 and the Sahara Desert was covered in a blanket of white snow. However, the snow only lasted for a day before melting under the hot sun. The first recorded snowfall was in 1979, a snowstorm that lasted half an hour. Although temperatures dropped to freezing in the night, the lack of moisture makes it almost impossible to produce any snow. But who knows, you might be lucky enough to see it on your next trip to the Sahara. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching.